What's up, guys? My name is Michael Westbrook. Today we are checking out this thing back here, the Line 6 Powercab 112 Plus. If you're a subscriber to Rhett, then you saw his recent video where I was over at his place making some cab IRs. While I was over there, he sent me home with this thing. We're going to plug it up, take a listen, check it out. Stick around. Alright, so we are all hooked up. I'm running my Telly into an HX Stomp into the Powercab 112 Plus. If you aren't familiar with the Powercab, basically it's a powered speaker. It's a 112 combo, as the name suggests. One thing that's kind of different about it is that not only does it have a flat response setting that just acts as a completely flat, transparent powered speaker, but it also has speaker modeling inside the cabinet. And what that accomplishes is basically giving you the experience of sitting in front of a cabinet with different types of speakers in it. Unlike the cabinets that you find in the Helix or the HX Stomp that are speakers inside cabinets that are mic'd up, this is the experience of sitting in front of the speaker inside of a cabinet. Right now we are plugged in with an XLR out of the back of it, going straight into Pro Tools, and we are going to listen to the HX Stomp using a speaker IR that I created using one of my presets that I created. Those presets will actually be released in the next week or two and available to buy. If they're already out, then there's a link in the description right now. We are going to compare those to the speaker modeling found inside of the cabinet. Now, when you run an XLR out of the back and run direct out of the cabinet and you're using the speaker modeling, there is mic modeling as well that's selectable. Right now, I have it on a greenback setting that's mic'd with a 57, and so that's what you'll hear. The IR that we're using, that I created, is a greenback mic'd with a 57, so it should be in the same ballpark sound-wise and be a good way to compare the two. Let's take a listen, and then after that, I'm going to talk a little bit about just the experience in the room in front of the cabinet, the difference between the speaker modeling and then setting the amp to a flat response and listening to a speaker IR. All right, let's get into it. All right, I'm going to swap over to the IR, and then I'm going to put the Powercab on the flat setting. So now that we took a second to listen to the recorded sound and the speaker modeling through the line out, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about just experiencing it in the room. I'm not sure that there's really a great way to capture that on a video, so I thought I'd at least share that experience with you. And kind of some more thoughts around the speaker modeling idea. So this idea to me is pretty unique in the fact that this cabinet models speakers. It models different types of speakers and their EQs and their responses. So what that means is that if I'm standing in front of a cabinet that has a greenback in it, it should be a similar experience to standing in front of this cab on the greenback setting. In the room with the cabinet, how that sounds. Typically modelers are creating the sounds of different amps, but as they're mic'd up, how you would hear them in a studio setting or in a recording setting, not necessarily how they sound standing in front of an amp. And really, I think that's why a lot of players don't necessarily like modelers when they first start using them, because that's not how we experience amplifiers. We grow up, if we start playing electric guitar, we're standing in front of the amp, we're sitting in a room with the amp. When we're playing with a band, we're in front of an amp. The sound of that amp in the room is a completely different experience than listening to an amp that's mic'd up in a studio. Obviously, there are pros and cons to both, but I think the way that modeling has gone, it's always been emulating a mic'd up amplifier sound. The cool thing about this cabinet is that it's kind of taking that in a different direction and modeling speakers as they sound in front of an amp. I will say, hearing the speaker modeled in front of the amp as opposed to setting it to a flat response and using an IR, comparing those two, I really like the speaker modeling. I think it sounds better and sounds more like what I'm used to hearing when I'm standing in front of a guitar amp and I'm plugged into it. I think this cab would be great for someone who maybe is new to modeling and doesn't necessarily mesh with that mic'd amp sound, but wants to hear an amp how they're used to hearing it, coming out of a speaker and in the room live. The volume on this thing is great because it can be dialed down real low, be great for bedroom players, but loud enough for gigs as well. All in all, the Powercab sounds great, actually really surprisingly great in my opinion. I was really impressed with the speaker modeling and just the ease that you can change out the speakers and try different ones and all of that. And the line out is super practical. All that being said, Line6 isn't paying me to make this video or anything. I just honestly doing it out of curiosity to see how it works and how great it sounds. And it actually does sound really, really good. Modeling has come a long way. Thanks for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications. Thanks to Rhett for letting me borrow the Powercab. Be on the lookout for the HX Stomp preset pack as well as some IRs. And I guess that's it for today. Until next time, I'll see you out there.